Is this microphone on? Yeah, I think so. Alright, let's do this again. What's up, guys? Welcome to 2025. If you are new here, welcome, and please go ahead and hit the subscription button so that you can receive all the notifications of when I post a video, a short, or a photo upload to my community. And for my existing subscribers, I love you guys so much. Thank you for rocking with me through the latter part of 2024. And I look forward to 2025 for bigger, better, more exciting things ahead. Guys, most importantly, do not forget to watch, subscribe, comment, like, and share. So I wanted to start the new year with a bit of reflection. And so by my video title and description, I wanted to share, my biggest corporate girl mistakes and lessons learned. How many of you guys can relate? How many of you corporate buddies or bros can relate to some of the life lessons or corporate mistakes that I'm about to drop in this video? So let's get it started. So, as many of you guys know, my background is actually in teaching. I'm a certified teacher, but I did not get a chance to go in the classroom after teachers college. And so I went straight into the corporate space. And just a little bit of a background. I know I have an older video about this, but I'm going to kind of skim through this so quickly, but more in details, more so. So I started out in the corporate space in the BPO sector. I started out at Fulgram, and then I went to Sutherland Global. And, starting out, just leave college, getting your first job, it was all exciting and whatever until you started to realize the work hours, working in a BPO, depending on the account that you work with. When I was at Fulgram, I worked with an account called Swiss Chalet. That's a company, a restaurant chain based in Canada. And the hours were basically, I would say 8 to around 9, 10 Jamaican time. And then I moved to Sutherland Global and I was on the Amazon account, fulfillment account, and that was at 24/7. When I was at Sutherland, it was calls. Calls came in, I took calls, and that's what the activities look like. When I was at Sutherland, it was strictly emails. You start out young, excited about work, carrying home your first paycheck, paying the bills because you live at your mother's place, yada, 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 the whole works. So I was a bit excited until when reality struck. One, the paycheck never hit at all. And two, the hours, especially because I didn't stay at Fulgram for long. So I jumped from Fulgram within 3 months, was at home for a couple months, and I got a job at Sutherland Global Services, the one in New Kingston. I'm not sure if it's still there, but that's where I started out at Sutherland. And when I started out at Sutherland, the work hours were crazy. I mean, this week you're on morning shift, next week you're on afternoon shift, the following week you're on night shift to daylight. That is 6 a.m. the morning. And so it took a toll on my body because each time you have to readjust your body to either wake up for early morning, sleep in an early morning, sleep in the afternoon, and go to work at night. So it was a bit of a roller coaster to say the least. But then reality kicked in when, I started realizing that this is not for me. Like the environment was toxic. The attrition rates in BPO sector is like through the roof. It's really, 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 really massive. And so I was fired and I could have debated it, but I didn't want to. And I won't say here where I was fired. It was nothing like violent related. It was just just a matter of negligence and the fact that I didn't really care at that time. Now, looking back, I should have, pleaded and presented a case, and I'm sure that I would have succeeded there. Mind you, I spent a little less than a year at Sutherland Global Services, and I was able to matriculate, whereby I started out as a regular agent, and then I went into a kind of supervisory role. So I know that I would have excelled at Sutherland Global Services. Then I went to the big red company. I won't name names here, but everybody know the big red, the only big red company here in Jamaica. Yes, that same one. And it was so excited. Mind you, keep in mind, keep track, guys. I have a background in sales, in education, teaching. I'm a teacher. And the job I had was in sales. And I'm telling you, I went into that interview, and the supervisors at the time and a manager, I believe, two males, they interviewed me. And I know they knew that I couldn't sell, but they saw the potential. That's all I can say. And, I was so excited, as a child growing up, and I did a presentation on this when I was at Digicel. I hosted a Monday morning meeting where I had to present, and my topic was, around overcoming your fear and whatever. I'll insert the topic of exactly what I had presented in that Monday meeting. But it was so exciting, and I'm telling you, starting out in sales, I didn't know anything about sales. Remember, guys, I'm coming from a background in education and teaching. I have no sales experience, but I knew what I wanted. I had goals for myself, and I wanted to earn, and I wanted to succeed. And so I pushed through. And I remember, the first 3 months, because sales is about forecasting and numbers. It's a numbers game and getting to a certain target. So you get a set target, and then you have to deliver on that number. And I remember month after month, the first 3-4 months, everybody, they're doing their numbers. And my name, Kenisha Jones, is at the bottom of the board with $16. And I remember looking at the dashboard, and I was like, God, I will never be at the bottom of that board again. Never. And I said to my supervisor at the time, I'm just going to call him Frank. Frank, I need you to help me. And if I don't get to the top of the board, I'm going to leave this job. And he extended himself and he helped me. I remember him taking me on the road one time and, showing me how to pitch and to have conversations with corporate persons. And just doing the work, putting in the work. And I can tell you, within less than a year, I was at the top of the board. Within a year, I was actually matriculating over to another team. So I was promoted within a year of being at the bottom of the board, I'm telling you. So, how excited I was about work, and I was just climbing and doing the most and, committing to things and just focus on work and zoned in. Work. Everything was around work. And I'm telling you, after a while, I got burnt out because sales is a cutthroat business, and it can be very, very draining mentally, emotionally, physically, because all you're focused on is making the numbers. That is the most important thing. And I remember, I would have tantrums, lash out at my, personal life, at my family members and whatnot. And I couldn't even understand why. I knew why. I was just overworked and tired mentally. It wasn't like a physical labor, but mentally tired. And it got to a point where I lost all my self-confidence. I was so timid. The least little thing, I would cry because I was so overwhelmed. And it's not because I didn't know the job, but I just felt like I was just overcommitting to things. Once I get a number, I like take on the big old number, and it's like my entire work. I have to get to this number no matter what. I have to get to this number. And for those who are in sales, who does consultative selling, you can understand that it's not easy handling, corporate customers in Jamaica and by extension any other country in the world that you're in, or that market that I would need to sell into, because I did sell into other markets as well. But at the same time, that self care, self growth and development, not being able to speak up for myself. It's like people were speaking for me. That level of self confidence was through the door. I was just there as an employee number. That's all I was, like a robot. Yes, yes, yes. Kadisha, do this. Kadisha, do that. Kadisha, what are you doing? Yes, yes, yes. Self was gone. It was all about the big red company's work. And I'm telling you, I was drained. And then at some point, I knew that I started to pick up. I prayed about it and asked God to, direct my path. And then I started to pick up, and things started to develop. And I'm telling you, it was just a shift, basically. And I can tell you that focusing solely on work, it can take a toll on you, both in your physical space. I was sick every minute. And this GP down did her practice down there at the same time I started my good friends now. She has been my GP for actually 8 years now. I've been seeing her. And, she constantly remind me, oh, you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're eating. Make sure you're, taking time for yourself mentally, taking care of yourself, your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. She was just like that little sounding board. So she was more than my GP. For those who don't know, GP is a general practitioner, a regular doctor. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, the fact that I neglecting my personal self and my personal development in terms of, continuing my education. I remember one time I actually started UTech because I wanted to complete my Bachelor's of Science in computer science, and work took over, personal life took over, and it just fell through the cracks. And I'm telling you, I was excelling at UTech without a doubt. Like, I had relationships with lecturers, with students that would look to me for guidance. And I'm like, I am the one working. You guys are leaving, high school and pre-university to matriculate into a bachelor's degree. You guys have all the experience and the knowledge. I have to go to a 9 to 5, take care of family, do the whole adult thing. You guys have no cares in the world other than your parents, and you come to university and your job is to just get good grades. And so, I stopped going to UTech, and that was that. Yeah, and that was basically that. I neglected my own personal development because I was just consumed by my job. Let's take a water break, guys, because I'll be going on and on and on. So let's take a break. No, the turning points for me was basically when I started to, analyze, sit back and kind of analyze what was happening and wanting to create that work life balance. And, I started to seek guidance. I remember I had some of the best managers at that big red company. One of them now is my current manager. And, I would get tips from him. I remember my Spanish speaking manager. She was such a mentor to me. I remember my Jamaican Chinese manager. I won't call any names here, guys, but I'm sure if they're watching this video, they know themselves. Like, you have to have those people who provide that guidance. And my friend right now, my good friend, I met her when I was at she was somebody who I could and was like, because she didn't speak to me all along, but at that moment, it's like the spirit said to her, I said, go and have a conversation with her. And from that moment to now, we're still friends. So I'm saying all of that to say, you have to seek guidance. You have to seek a mentor. You have to seek somebody who can provide you with guidance. You have to seek the resources to navigate you throughout all of those work challenges and to help you to create that work-life balance. And for me, it was all about setting boundaries because going through all of this, I was doing well and I got promoted again. So, shifting my mindset, setting boundaries, speaking up a bit, knowing what I wanted, thriving for my own healthy, personal growth and development, setting boundaries. Those are some of the turning point moments in my life that made me look back and be like, wow, girl, you got this. Girl, you can survive in the corporate space. And I'm telling you, if you can survive a day at that big red company, you can survive anywhere in the world because it's such fast things, fast going, like managers left and right coming in. And that is just the sales part, business solutions aspect of it. So I really started off the video just highlighting some of the mistakes that I made and some of the lessons learned and a few of the turning point moments in my personal career. But I also wanted to, kind of leave with you some, lessons learned, the power of self-reflection, acceptance, and doing something about it. And that is why my videos emphasize so much the importance of self-care. And self-care can mean you read a book. Self-care can mean you go and further your education. Self-care can mean you put on your sneakers and you walk. Self-care can mean you go do your hair, you do your nails, you do a facial, and you don't have to do anything expensive. And self-care can, in summary, looks at both your mental and physical health for success and how that is going to propel you to become successful in the corporate world. Because once you're good here, and your physical health is good, like nothing with God, everything is possible. Once your mental health and your physical health is healthy, you are able to survive in the corporate space. And another key point is the fact that you need to embrace feedback and seek growth. You have to have those mentors, those friends who will tell you the hard truth. I remember my Cuban boss used to say, Kedisha, with an accent, heart on the table and use your brain. You're brilliant. Use your brain. You have to leave your heart on the table and you will succeed. And those are some of the things. Like I remember my current boss telling me, if there's no test, there is no testimony. My other Chinese boss told me, fake it till you make it. In essence, she was saying, even when you don't know what you do, you go on like you know what you do. And it worked. Like, even when I didn't know how to sell, I go in, I dress up and look posh and cute and fashionable. And it's like, until I knew the material and I was confident enough to speak on it and nobody. And the thing is, knowledge is power. Once you have knowledge, nobody can take that away from you. So those are some of the things that I would have learned, and the ability to find your own voice. And in short, I did leave that big red company because it was messing with my mental health. I went on to another local tech company here in Jamaica, and then I moved to the current company that I am now. And I can tell you, you see, when you find your voice, when you're happy and comfortable, you know what you want, you have that peace of mind, you then, protrude that confidence. You're able to speak and people listen to your ideas. Like the company that I am now, my manager, he's so receptive of each team member's, viewpoint and how we're going to grow the business and, in corporate Jamaica here now. And so from time to time, like if I need to present something or share a thought, I would be a bit timid. And once I share it, I make sure that I have all my salient points, and I would share, and I realized that he's accepting my idea, and I was like, oh my god, like where was this all my life in my corporate life? Where was this? And it's the ability to just advocate for yourself and your ideas with your confidence, like having that level of confidence and self growth and self development shatters glass ceiling. And I would like to just close out this video by saying, or just encouraging someone in the corporate space to just do some self-reflection. You may be struggling with knowing who you are, what you want to achieve. You might be struggling with a boss who micromanages, who doesn't give clear directives, who doesn't know themselves what they're doing. I'm telling you, do not give up. Prioritize your mental and physical health, set boundaries, practice your self-care, build that self-confidence. Like my former boss used to tell me, fake it till you make it. There's no testimony without a test. You have to go through, you go through, like my good friend would say. You have to go through, you go through, and you're going to come out on the other side wondering, wow, did I just do that? You have to. And I'm telling you, with tears bubbling in the back of my eyeballs, like, you're going to make it. You're going to be great. You have to feed yourself positive things. You cannot make the devil win at no point, because that is his job. That is what he wants. But God will provide you with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you need in order to become successful. And also, I wanted to leave, some practical tips on, how to avoid pitfalls, and how to cultivate a healthy work-life balance. Like I constantly emphasize, self-care, go back to school, do that training, motivate yourself in some way, educate yourself to the point where information is just rambling, 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 rambling. Find yourself some really good motivational books, because you do not know it all. And there are others who are out there who you see, whether in the books, whether it's a mentor, who they are living the life that you would want for yourself, or you are thriving to be. Not that you want their life, but that's exactly the trajectory of your life that you want. So you have to seek that advice. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Asking for help means that you are intelligent enough to know that you are lacking, or you're not cognizant of something to the point where you're able to identify and ask for help. I mean, one of my favorite things is, when people ask me, what is intelligence? The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's real intelligence, and it doesn't get any better than that. I want to invite all of you guys to share with me, whether you're in the corporate space, whether you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you work for the government, you work with JCF, JDF, you're a pilot, you work in the hospitality space, just leave a comment below. I don't know, maybe we can sync up and do a little video together. Just an idea. Just to create that supportive community for, corporate persons, finding yourself, finding what works for you, knowing when to set boundaries, doing that self-reflection, and just succeeding, because there's room for everybody. No matter what you think, there is room for every single person to succeed, and you don't have to dim someone else's light to become successful. Everybody can help everybody to climb that corporate ladder, or that government ladder, or that hospitality ladder. It's just how you go about doing it. So each one, teach one. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I do hope that this little video was informative and it allowed you to do a bit of self-reflection, Don't mind the rumbling because I'm not good at this. I like to write down stuff. If you see me, looking at my screen and whatnot, it's because I have my notes in front of me because I wanted to make sure that I captured all the important points that I wanted to share here. But last but not least, guys, do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, watch the video.